And we are live. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. We actually made a Monday. If you can believe, I can't believe that we're here on a Monday. It is Monday Night Draw. I've got stuff all over my page already. It's just been busy times. The good news is, oh, by the way, my hands are a little dirty. I just cleaned out my splatter tool that I got from Eric. I had ink all over it, so I got it washed up because I want to use it a little bit tonight. We had our baby. We had our horse baby, foal. Filly, actually. It's a female. So, and it finally came on Friday. It was Friday. It was, well, actually Saturday, really. 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So I had that baby monitor that for those of you that watched the stream last week, I had a horse baby monitor the whole stream, and we had a false alarm. I thought for sure this is it. She's pregnant. I ran off this, I had 10 minutes left on my picture. I had to run. She was just rolling to stand up. So anyway, but we're back. And we have Eric Grove actually co-hosting with me tonight for just about an hour, I think, because Meredith our oldest son is getting married, and she had to do a food tasting, which, strictly speaking, I was supposed to do too. But I have all you guys as an excuse, so I was able to bail out of that one. So, hi, Eric. Thank you so much for
no worries
doing this. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to mention quickly that we had a comment from Henry Jeremick. He wants Absolute Batman's hooks as a homage to Megadeth with Hook and Mouth. So we're going to do that for sure. Megadeth is, Megadeth is like on and off my favorite band. There are times I'm just not in the mood for something really heavy. By the way, this Absolute Batman sketch is going to be a total copy of Absolute Batman issue 4 because I love that cover. I love what Nick Dragotta did with it, and I really want to do it. So,
are your desk lights on, Dave?
What's that?
Are your desk lights on?
They are. Is it not?
Oh, okay. Well, there's a bit of a shadow.
Yeah, it's always a problem.
Oh, okay.
I've got my 2 lights. My overhead light died, and it actually died like 2 years ago, and I just have not gotten around to getting it fixed or just getting a new one. I got these 2 cheap lights from like a no-name whatever from Amazon, and they've worked for years. I got an Elgato, like the expensive one. That one burned out.
Yeah, I was watching one of Dave Raposa's videos where he uses these lights to light his reference.
And
I looked at the price of them and almost fell out of my chair. Like,
how much?
Wow, they're expensive. I can't remember the price now, but it must have been, probably like $100-$200 for one.
That's not bad.
They are amazing. They're they're not wired. So you can hold them. I must try to find it again. But you can,
the Elgato one, I swear, and this is like 4 years ago before everything doubled in price. It was like $400. It was a lot for something that burned out.
Yeah, these are battery operated, and they're very, very powerful. You can set them to any hue, so you can use it to light, whatever reference you have.
Right.
And let me see how much.
This is going to take a while because I'm actually drawing this at probably maybe a bigger size than is ideal for me to get this done quickly. But I'm also copying Nick Dragotta's drawing, which makes things go quicker. I think. We'll see. It's a nice thing about having a YouTube channel, Eric. I can just swipe and say, hey, I'm homaging. I am homaging. And I'm going to write after Nick Dragotta. So it's legit. As legit as you can get anyway when you're swiping. Nick Dragotta is a really great artist. He's just very original,
Yeah,
his poses are all his own, and you don't see that. Never see that. So it's always exciting for me to see an artist that just does something different. The designs, everything. And I'm not going to copy this one for one or anything. Like this is going to be, hopefully I'm on the screen here. This is going to be pretty interpreted because I am not Nick Dragotta and I'm not going to try to be, but I do want to get the basic drawing in with essentially the same proportions, Oh, by the way, we have a video that just came out this week, and apparently is doing very well, which is great. Thrilled. It's nice. It's nice to have a video out. It is actually a collection of stuff from the live stream, but oh, check this out. So here, I'll show you. Here's a page. I've got a
great.
Here's some other stuff. Anyway, I did how to draw female heads. I've got a couple other pages of this stuff, and that will be coming up very, very soon. It's being edited right now, and I have the next video after that all queued up. I'm going to do how to paint, which I'm not going to be able to do without Eric. I'm going to do it myself, Eric, like most of the video. But what I'd like to do is do a section of it together and talk about it a little bit, because look, I could not be where I am with painting without Eric really solving 3/4 of the problems we've run into. So that's coming up. And then I actually got a great idea from Jamie Wood, who Eric put me on the spot last week. My mind went blank, which is what I do. I can't remember my mother's name. If you ask me that way, it's terrible. But yeah, he had a great idea. I'm going to do it's really the way that I learn, and it's copying from other artists, and I'm going to do a stream on Mike Mignola and his shadow shapes and the way that he arranges all that stuff, because that really is such a central thing for me, for how I learned how to draw shadow. So yeah, that's coming up too. Such a crazy design, isn't it?
Yeah. That's great.
Now, this one actually does not have, well, it has spikes on his shoulders, but it doesn't have his cape spikes. I'm going to sneak them in there just for Henry.
Super chat from Greg is saying, "Hey, David, Eric, glad you're able to do this one."
Yeah, well, you know what? This week, I was planning on having Victor Farrow this week, and the reason we don't have Victor is I have not emailed him because it's just been so freaking crazy, and like the week was going by, and yeah, it's totally on me. So now I have to hope that he's still like available to do it and willing to do it after I'm like, there's no excuse. So I'm hoping we can get him next week. And if not, I mean, you know what, he's a pretty chill guy, I think.
Yeah, he's great.
He'll do it soon enough, but I think we should be able to do next week. And that was the plan for this week. And then I thought, oh no, I don't even know what I'm going to draw. And then I thought, wait a minute, I haven't done absolutely.
That should give you time to get some liquid charcoal, right?
Yeah, that is another factor.
Yeah.
All right. So he's got his symbol. Just about done sketching this thing in. And once I have this kind of at this stage, I'm going to close my reference because I don't actually. Oh wait, he's got his arm. I don't really want to just sit here and copy this thing.
So last week, someone asked if you're going to Motor City Comic Con.
No, I won't be at Motor. I think that's this weekend, right?
I am not sure. I
think that it is, but no, I won't be there this year. My sister-in-law will actually be there. She does conventions sometimes for Essential Sequential. She will be there, so you can go say hi to her. But no, I won't be there, unfortunately. It's a great show. I just I've got a store signing coming up in 2 weeks, not less than 2 weeks now, and then I've got Heroes Con, and really I've been trying to spend as much of my time as I can. I'm gonna put some down here. All right.
You said your sister, Dan?
Meredith's sister.
Oh, okay. What is it? I saw. Is her name Nicole? Maybe.
No, Andrea.
Oh, okay. Because I saw on Jason's Whatnot show. There was.
Oh yeah, he's got somebody new helping him with streams.
Yeah, she was doing really good.
Great,
I thought maybe that's who you were referencing, but that's cool.
Yeah, you know what? There are people that really specialize in those kinds of streams, and they've got it down to a science.
Yeah, she's a natural with it for sure.
The rest of us are all kind of figuring it out. We were actually going to have a stream this weekend, and I just wasn't able to do it, and so Eric very kindly postponed it for me, which I really appreciate. And I'm sorry, Eric.
No, it's all good. We'll get to it Let's see. There's quite a few super chats that have come in. Let's see. Dan Castelli. Dave, could you talk about your thought process when doing convention sketches, particularly head sketches, and how you create a pleasing overall shape?
I got distracted by Dan Caselli. I haven't heard from Dan for a little while. Okay, sorry, what was the question?
He was asking about your thought process when doing convention sketches, particularly head sketches, and how you create a pleasing overall shape.
Okay. So there are a couple of things to think about. I'm going to use my paper that I was using for some of this. This is more of the... Okay, so let's see. Basically, I've got a paper just about like this. And I know when I'm doing a convention sketch, I can't draw a character, looking behind. Nobody wants a profile. Unless they specifically ask, I don't do that. So, and depending on the character, like Superman, I'll generally, and I think about, who the character is. Superman, usually I want to be looking up at him. And so I'll do something. And by the way, there's the rule of thirds. So here's my thirds. And so I'm going to put his head kind of up here somewhat. And then his shoulder will be here. And it kind of gives me a nice composition. And so I try and think, so there's, me looking up at a head, and I'll do that. It's a pretty standard kind of a shot for me. And then my other real go-to standard, I'm actually hesitant to say this because I do this angle so many times that I don't want to draw too much attention to that fact, but it would be basically like this. And so here's my eyes, here's my nose. And I want it to take up most of the page if it's a head sketch, and I can put the shoulder in there or whatever, and the same basic concept. I'm too far over. So, as a layout, that's not as ideal. I can't do this with actual paper, but I can do it here. So I can just kind of cut that in and make the composition just a little bit better. But I really want to showcase the face as much as possible. I'll try and capture it. Like I'm imagining this being Batman, so here he is, he's Batman. I recommend that when you do a head sketch, you got your eye line here, your forehead here, even divisions, and then your chin. And these are all even. And you basically do essentially a Loomis head. This is like a Loomis with How to Draw Comics from Our Boy. It's a little more simple. Mine is more simple than either of them, really. But there you go. I sometimes will do this if I'm uncomfortable. Usually you saw what I did here and here. Generally what I would do is I would just draw the eyes in at this point, draw the nose. I've been doing this for a long time. So if you're comfortable and you've been doing it for a while, you can get away with that. If not, I recommend doing your actual divisions and working it out. I don't know if you'd be embarrassed doing this at a show, but I really recommend that you look at your art in a mirror because you'll see distortions that you won't otherwise see. And so, you bring a little mirror along with you, you take a look at it and you go, oh, whoa, the head's kind of hanging off on one side or whatever. And that's very common. So something to think about. But yeah, what I want to do is ideally think in terms of rule of thirds. It doesn't have to be perfect. This one really isn't. I mean, it's much more head centric. There's a lot of head there. Another version that I could do is something a little bit more straight on. And this is a little bit more centered in the composition. I never do directly straight on. And the reason is they're very difficult. Straight on means that every part of the face needs to be symmetrical. And it takes a little bit of measuring and hassle. And, it's fine. But at a convention, I'm not going to do it unless you force me. I'm pretty amenable. So if somebody really says, oh, is this what can you do this? I will do it. Generally speaking, I look down at heads because it ends up being, I feel like, unless I'm really looking up at a head, like Punisher. Here's my Punisher. I do this every single time. So he's centered again like this, but I'm looking up at it and the face is almost facing me. And again, not completely because I don't want to have to fight with making everything symmetrical. My eyes, my nose, I'm looking up at the face. And then I do like a direct downward lighting. This is so influenced by Tim Bradstreet. And then my mouth will be here, a lot of shadow. And then that gives me enough room to kind of get the top of it. For a head sketch, I'm not going to get the full chest in there, but I'll get enough that you'll see kind of his, his skull. So there you go. That's kind of how I lay it out. They're pretty simple. You just want to make sure that when you do them, like for this one here, his body's going to fit basically like this. You want to make sure that you're either going rule of thirds or thereabouts, or centered, but kind of go in with a plan. And then it's really important, even though you're just drawing a head, you want to make sure that the neck actually connects nicely to your body. Common mistake. So there you go. That's how I would do it.
All right, I got the name of those lights, Dave.
Okay.
They're called Aperture, but it's APUTURE, and they're LED lights. They're incredible.
Do they use them to light your desk? Because I don't really light reference.
No, if you have like a 3D model, if you want to, I don't know, light, if you want to have like bounce light off a 3D model or something.
How would you do a 3D model? It would be on your screen, wouldn't it? Like,
I don't know. No, if you had like your, like the head that I got.
Oh, like I've got the little doll.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Let's see. Dan also said hi in a follow-up super chat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, great to see you guys is what he said. And then let's see. Liken. That's funny. Liken, subscribe. Liken as in werewolf. Subscribe. Know how some artists have nicknames? What do you think of David the Mood Finch for your details and hatching? Or what might you go with?
Okay, look, I feel like you guys kind of know me by now. Not completely. I can be a total jerk. And I tend to try to be nicer here. So, truthfully, I'd have that side of me. I'm not going to lie. But the Mood Finch probably doesn't really fit. I don't think. It's not really my vibe. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't think I could pull that off.
Like and subscribe again in the super chat. Neon Panda suggested David D Tail Finch. Detail Finch. Yeah.
Stop. This is what I've had nicknames before, never approved by me, to say the least.
That's how it works, right? You always get hit with a nickname, and the minute you express disapproval, then it sticks even more.
My favorite nickname. Oh, you know what? The only nickname I ever had that actually stuck is Leroy. My best friend for years when I was in high school called me Leroy, and it was a total joke because it's bad Leroy Brown, and the whole point being that I'm not that bad. So it was ironic. And his nickname, this is from another friend of mine, was Chovap. You know what that is?
Nope.
It's Serbian for sausage. It's like a little sausage, apparently. Anyway, because he was small. I don't know. I didn't name him.
I'm glad that I've gotten away with any kind of branding.
You never had a nickname?
Well, I wouldn't say never, but
never one that you want to repeat, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we were talking about paper, actually, just before we started, because I ran out of paper, which means that this is on my really good image paper, and I only have very, very little of it. So I try not to use it, but I ran out of paper, so I kind of had to. And Eric asked me if I use the EOS. Is that right? Eon paper. Mm-hmm. And I have, and I hate it. But I hate it because you can't ink with a quill on it. Or at least, the paper I had, I'm sure they have a range, so I don't want to defame them. But the paper that I had, you couldn't use a quill on. It didn't work well. It would bleed. But I don't use a quill anymore. I use these kinds of tools. So I think actually, even if I was using that paper, probably it would be just fine. So I'm thinking, you know what? Because I use Strathmore 200 series lined, comic paper, and it's great. and it's not terribly expensive, but it's not super cheap either, you know? So I'm going to look into it because, yeah, I feel like I'm probably wasting my money on paper that I don't really need anymore because I'm not using a quill. Every other tool is fine. Quill just, it kind of cuts into the paper just slightly. And if the paper has any kind of weakness to it, it will bleed out. And it's a real nightmare. I've drawn paper pages on that stuff before, like cheaper paper, maybe not, you know, that one particularly. And then handed it into inkers like a long time ago when everybody was still kind of using a quill, much more so. And I had inkers almost quit on me over that stuff. So
you mentioned what you're using tonight, right?
Yeah, I'm using this is not only Image Comics paper. This is Image Comics paper from 30 years ago. This might even be like 32-year-old paper. It's this is the best paper. It's legendary paper in the business. You could erase spaghetti off of this. I'm not kidding. I have done it. So yeah, there's never been paper like this since. And even Image, you know, like by the time I finished that Image, and this would have been, you know, I need to see his belt. Sorry, Eric. Oh, and I closed my reference. Dang it. Let's see if I can see what okay. Yeah, it's pretty standard. Yeah, this is like Image paper from like the early days, beginning days of Image, and they just stopped producing it, so we couldn't buy it. Or maybe that's what they just told us because they didn't want to keep paying for it. This is the paper. I want to say this is probably my third day, maybe fourth day working in comics. And Jim Lee walks by, and he sees me doing a layout on this paper. And what I would do at the time is I would lay out my picture like this, well, with pencil, and then I would transfer it over. I haven't done that in years and years, but when I started, that's kind of what I was doing. And when he saw that I was using the good quality, like expensive Image paper to do layouts, he brought me over to where the photocopy paper was and said, use this. I'm like, oh, so much trouble right now. He's great. He was very supportive. He was great, but he didn't want to waste the paper. So I started doing my layouts on photocopy paper.
Newt number 3 as a super chat says, finally got all issues of Skinbreaker.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, if you guys don't mind, I want to show you. And thank you. I just got these actually today. So this is issue 8. This is the last issue of Skinbreaker. So yeah, here it is. I'm going to flip through it really quick. I don't know how much. I think some of it might be cutting off because this is the really big version. But yeah, this is the end. It's kind of the main action of the book is issue 7. So this is kind of like, you know, the wrap up from, you know, where they have like a funeral and everybody kind of, then time passes, the village kind of, you know, progresses a little bit more. Anyway, I'm not going to show you the whole book, but yeah, issue 8, it is out, and I'm so thrilled to have the whole book out.
Yeah, and I was about to say, how do you feel now that everything's out? How do you feel now that, you know, the last issue's out? And
I feel conflicted because
all that time,
so much work. We have, by the way, a painted cover from EM Gist, guest of the channel multiple times, Eric Canetti, who is, you know, an absolute genius. Also, we were fortunate enough to have him on the channel. He said he would come on again, Eric.
Yeah.
To do it.
That'll be fun.
And there's a hardcover coming. So there's the color version and black and white version coming out in November. This is like a big sized treasury edition. Anyway, hardcover cover. So there you go. All right. Drawn.
All right, let's see. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, Dan Castelli again. Thank you so much, David. I know I've said it 100 times, but I can tell you, how much I appreciate having you take the time for us.
Oh, well, it's always a pleasure, Dan. Really, and thank you.
Here's an interesting one from Darmex. Not to get ahead, but I want to ask, since we're inching closer to Alien Day, will you draw the big chap Xenomorph on stream? That would be fun.
That would be fun. That would be a tough one to do. I did an Alien cover for Marvel. This is, I don't know, 5 years ago or so now. It's a little while ago. When Marvel got the Alien and Predator license, I did like promo image covers for both. And the Alien one, I ended up drawing twice. I drew like half the cover. I hated it. I stopped, started it again. It must have taken me like 4 days to do that cover. But, you know, I'm a huge fan and I wanted it to be right. So on a stream, I couldn't take 4 days, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it would have to be right away. You know what I would do for sure if I did Alien right now? I'd use my splatter tool.
Oh, yeah.
I used it on a cover.
Oh, yeah? Which one? Oh, you can't show it.
I can't. I guess I could. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'm not going to get up and show you guys everything I have in my office.
Let's see. AMS139S. I feel like I've been stuck with my art recently. I'm self-taught. I've been drawing from my imagination recently and doing gesture drawings, but I feel like I'm making no progress. So he says, do I study? I don't know if maybe he's asking, what do I study? But it's a very good question. I think that's a common thing.
You know what? This actually came up today. I was talking to somebody today, and we were kind of talking about this. And it really does come down to effectively using reference and knowing how to use it. Because I feel like it's really difficult. Like I tried my best to be as thorough in what I say as I can be, but then I realized like there are things that, look, I forget what I do half the time, and so I did a whole section. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm like all over the place. Good. I did a whole section on how to draw hair, female hair, in my female heads video, and I have been avoiding that for years. And the reason I've been avoiding it is I know how to do it, but kind of not really. And I've copied it from other artists. Like the way I draw a female hair is the way I studied it from Travis Stress and different artists. And there are so many things that I draw that I don't really have like a hard and fast, this is why I do it. And here are the rules. And, if you follow these rules, it will work. I kind of only half know myself. So I feel very unqualified to teach it. But okay, I want to show you guys this really quickly. Let me see if I can find paper without something all over it. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to draw a head. And Meredith's not here, so she can't stop me.
I'm going to tell her everything.
And this is unfortunately going to be a lot quicker than I'd like it to be. I'm going to do a video that is much more, starts to kind of go into this stuff a little bit more, because I feel like it's something that is very important and it's central to the way that I learned. And I really didn't, I never really thought about it kind of before today, just how much of an impact it has. And when you're struggling and you're not really improving, well, this is the way to improve, I think. Okay, so I've got my standard kind of male head. And I want this to be, an old guy. But like a kind of cool looking old guy, whatever, I don't know how to do that, right? Like I've never drawn an old guy before. How do I have, but you know what I mean? So I'm going to get a book. This has been the book of the week before. I know not all of you guys have watched every one of these things.
It is such a good book.
But it's a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just opened a random page and look at this. I've got all these different really great faces in here. And I think I'm going to go with this one. He looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He has a different angle. It doesn't really matter. I can kind of infer. And so let's do that. I'm going to make some changes to this face based on this. And we'll kind of talk about, what the differences are with that face. And I'm going to try to, I'll go a little tighter. I'll break my lead. All right, hold on. I need a new sharpener, Eric, and every time I sharpen my lead, I keep breaking it in my sharpener.
Yeah, it's getting a bit dull.
It is. Okay, so I've got like a real manly jaw. That's not really going to work. I want to give him, some of the guys smirk because I kind of like it. But I can't get too carried away because the angle's different. And already, I don't like it. Let's fix it. Trying to curve his mouth upwards was a mistake. So his nose has more of a shape like this. So there you go. His brow is much heavier here. And then it lightens out at the edges. And I really like how he did the brow. I want to try and capture some of that. So there you go. His eyes peak up in the center and then really dip. Interesting eye shape. So let's see if I can get that in here. He's got bags under his eyes. This is still looser than I would go, obviously, for like a finished drawing, but you get the picture. There we go. He's got a bit of a protruding cheek. His forehead kind of recedes back more than I had. He's got a bit of a heavy brow. And a very small chin, actually. So let's make that chin quite a bit smaller. And then he's older, so he's got a bit of a jowl. I don't want to get too carried away because he's not really heavy. He's just older. And certainly a thinner neck. Really nice ear. I like how he did his ear. I'm going to make the ear just a little larger too because as you get older, your nose and your ears grow. And I could even do the hair, I don't want to be here all day getting too carried away with this as much as I do kind of want to be here all day doing this. I enjoy doing this. And you can't really see, unfortunately, some of these scans or photographs or whatever, they're not ideal. So you lose some detail, but he's got some detail here. It might be difficult for you to see it. So you have to take my word for it. But there you go. There's an old face, totally different. I could try and just totally fake that. And you know what? I've been doing this long enough. It wouldn't look like this, but I could draw an old guy. But this is how I study all the time. So, and it doesn't have to be an old guy. Like, let's say you really like how Jim Lee draws his faces. You don't have to just copy a Jim Lee face. You draw a face and you can pick things up. And look, using reference effectively like this will make you so much better. And then I'm going to break out another book. This is by Tomas Giorelli. I'm so sorry, Tomas. My top favorite artist probably right now. Giorello. I've been using this book, so it's taking some damage. And I want to find some lighting that I really like. It might not even be appropriate for this, but this is the book I want to use, and so this is the lighting we're going to use. Let's see. We'll find something that's going to work. When I was starting, the amount of time that I would lose doing this, practically nightmares about it. It doesn't, again, I don't need the same angle. I just need something, I want something similar. And I want something appropriate. So this book, because the lighting is all much more, you know what, we'll just use this. This one right here, because I like it. So yeah, you're struggling with lighting. And how do you do lighting? And you know what, there are rules to it, yeah. But trying to get really good lighting on faces and things like that, just using, rules is really hard. So I really recommend that you try something like this. He's got a cool looking shadow coming out here. And again, I don't know that this would be the lighting that I would pick, for it could be, it just depends on what you're looking for. But, it really helps to have a really great library of different things that you can look at for reference ideas. I'm going to darken that. I like it darker more. And his mouth is open. You know what? So like really, I think if I was more struggling with this kind of lighting, I would probably want to find something that fits this angle better. So I'm going to have to actually just kind of fake this because the bottom of his face, like I don't want to keep you guys here all day while I find the perfect thing. I could. So I'm probably not giving you the very best example that I could be giving you because I'm not copying this as closely as you know, it might be useful to see, but you can see how I can use my own drawing and use different bits of reference to help me along, help me with lighting, like, you know, help me with all these kinds of things. Trying to just make it up on your own is how you stall. That's why you stall.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do that. That's my recommendation. And I lost my page that I was working on.
I would think that's one of the hardest things for me to just realize. You know, we see, you know, it's easy to see you drawing and, you know, everything comes out of your pen perfectly.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, I need to do the same, but no, I shouldn't. It's like, you
yeah,
know.
This isn't like I'm not becoming a better artist doing this. That's a fact. What I'm doing right now is entirely relying on what I already know. And I can do a lot with it. And you know what? That's what I do most of the time. You know, it's not economical, like time economical for me to just be referencing all the time. But the way you get better is by doing that. So it's not just doing, you know, the simple tube form drawing. It's also referencing and doing it in a way that is the most useful. And that is the best way that I know how to do it. That's how I did it. That's how so many artists have done it.
Yeah, and then I think what you get for free is just, you know, your visual library just gets so much better.
It does. And this is how you develop your style, because you're going to pick your favorite artist. I love Thomas Dorello. I'm a huge fan right now. But that might not be your thing, or you might love it, but it's not what you want your work to look like. And so you find an artist that does work that's more suited to what you want, and it will become part of you. You find a few different artists plus your own natural aesthetic, and you'll end up with a style. That's how it works.
I'm going to let you catch up a bit on this piece. Then Greg has a question, and then some really good questions in chat too. But I'll let you keep going a little bit. Dave, Lance asks, hey, Lance, good to see you. Dave, that plain definition line you draw on the biceps now has been an aha moment for me. Yeah, it really does help with biceps.
Doesn't it? Yeah. And thank you, Lance. I really appreciate it. It does. It makes a big difference.
It creates a good separation between the tricep and that edge line, because there's so much real estate.
And really, just from a form perspective, the front of the bicep is here,
right?
Or the front of the arm is here. And this is all really the side, broadly speaking. And so it's just a really great reference point for me. I find it just gives me that feeling of form. Makes a big difference. And you know, so many things like that end up just being like ticks. You know, it starts being something that works, and then that next thing you know, it becomes part of your style, which is all right unless it looks distracting. You know, I've done things. There are things that artists have done that I love how they make it look, and so I started doing it. It became part of my style. And then I started realizing that it's like such a crutch, and it's so like very often it's actually fighting. It's not really helping. And so, yeah, I've had to let them go.
Happy Gilmore asks, any advice for getting to a finished piece? I love sketching and drawing, but get really stuck when it comes to inking and color. I lose a lot of what makes the sketch look so great.
Yes. And my advice is when that happens, and this is a very common thing, the reason that happens is you don't have it fully realized in the sketch. And so now my sketch is very loose here, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I'm because this is quicker, and honestly, I tend to draw a lot of things this way, truthfully. You know, I might as well be like really. But if you have everything, like if all of your lines, like you have your black shapes organized, delineated well, and everything's very clear, and your rendering is very clear and concise and clear. When it comes to inking, you're not going to struggle. Then at that point you can refine things a little bit, but for the most part, you've made your decisions, and it will work. If it's not working, it's because it's actually, you can cheat and scribble and be loose with a pencil in a way that you can't with ink, and you won't realize that you're doing it until you try and ink it. And that's when you go, oh no, like so many decisions haven't really been made, and I don't know how to make those decisions. So that's really what it is. It's a lack of refinement in the sketch phase. And it's a knowledge gap. And it's just, we all struggle with that stuff. And so, yes, I would recommend focusing on pencils anyway, until you really get more comfortable. And then once you have things really, really clear, so I've done some covers lately that I had intended to have inked, actually. And so I did them like completely tight. And I had to ink them. We just didn't have time. And it was like the easiest time of my life, like everything was just like, wow, I'm not even working. I'm just basically, kind of tracing for a living. It was great because I had made all the decisions in pencil. So you need to do that.
There's some really good questions in chat. This one may make you want to take a break and draw something from this. So I'll keep it in the back pocket as well. Question by Darker and New Vegas. Then there's another one from Mason Draws that's really good, and then a super chat by Greg. So whenever you feel comfortable to take a break there, I can ask.
Okay, ask. Now it's going to drive me nuts. I got to
Okay. It's studied your videos and many others so much, but I still have trouble with placing the nose. This is Greg. Can never angle it right. Also terrible at shading the face. I think shading the face, I mean, like David said, that looking at other comics and
right. Now I brought out my Planet Death, and I love this stuff because it's so much like Jorge Zafino.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
So
a lot of the lighting really reminds me. I mean, this is its own style. I don't want to say, oh, this is just derivative. It's not, but it has that kind of feel. Like the lighting's great. It's also very complex lighting, really complex for me. You might want to go with something a little bit more simple. But yeah, the way that I did just a minute ago, you draw a face. You can find, if you look at Mike Mignola, and I really recommend that because he's so great with his lighting and simple. The book that I really recommend more than anything that I can think of for like facial lighting, I want to just show you guys. You know what?
Kevin Nolan and
we don't have Meredith. The wheels are coming off.
We have Batman's head done, so I think we're good for the night.
Okay. Like so many of my favorite comics, it doesn't even have a cover, and it's not in the greatest shape.
Bottom by Gaslight.
No, this is I dropped my brush.
I know what this
Dracula.
Is. Dracula.
So this is the Bram Stoker's Dracula, a movie that came out, I don't know, 1990, 91. This is, I think, at Mike Mignola's height of this kind of art. What he does now is more cartoony and is beautiful, and it's really cool stuff. It's just a different style. But this is like the height of this kind of work. And I mean, look at this. Everything is very organized and very clear and very easy to understand. And so, any face that you draw, I think there are 5 issues of this. You'll find it in one of these books. You'll find something that will work. Now, this is heavier lighting. You might not want that. Find somebody different, and it's totally fine. But yeah, trying to figure out lighting on your own, if you haven't really done it, it's just not going to work. So
his lighting shapes are so strong.
They are. And so you don't need to just copy his face. You can draw your own face and find something similar enough, and then you have to infer a little bit, and that makes it a little tougher, but you'll also really absorb it much more. It makes you a much better artist, and that is the way to do it. So what are the other ones?
Oh, okay, let's go back. Okay. You can keep them in your back pocket too, but I'll read them to you. Hey Dave, recently I've been studying gesture and got the male side recently down, but I'm struggling a lot with the female side, mainly the torso and breast area from different angles. Yeah, that is a tough one.
It is a tough one. So I have a video on how to draw female torsos. That video did really well, actually, Eric.
Yeah, for sure. It's very good.
No mystery why. But I'd recommend watching that video. And really what it comes down to is everything is the same, but you really need to learn how to draw breasts properly. Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to. When you're struggling with it, it's because it's really easy to, if you draw them too high up, okay, let me just show you. So I've got my chest. So here you go. This is my standard, how to draw comics, Marvel Way, Loomis chest. Very simple. Got my arm here, my other arm here. My head's going to be here. Lighten it down just a little bit. And so my chest is going to be here if this were a guy. But, it's important to know that your chest is also there if you're a girl. I mean, it's not like we're different species. So this is also a girl. And when you attach your breasts, what you're doing is you're creating, I want to conform to my form. I'm not drawing a circle. I'm drawing a bit more of an oval here and here. And so you still have your chest here. And your breasts are going to attach just about like this. It can be helpful to put like a center line just to get your kind of, your form in there. And then you really want to be more narrow with your rib cage. That is a very, very common problem, to just go too wide with the rib cage. So there you go. Now that's just a front view. But if you kind of follow that rule, it will help you from just about any view, because you're keeping in mind you've got a chest that, okay, let's just draw it from, we'll draw more of an upward angle. So I still have my chest here. I've still got my shoulder. I don't want to go super muscular because we're going with, these are like standardized superhero type figures. So you've got your really muscular man and you've got your woman that has got muscle definition, but you're not going crazily muscular unless that's, what the character calls for. So I'm going a little thinner. I still have all that shape there. I want to lighten that down so it's not fighting with me, but I've got this round here. So I'm going to round that breast over it like this. And again, it's not going to be a circle. It's an oval that kind of follows that form. And then the other one is going to come off here and again, follow that form. And it still attaches to your, what do you call it? Chest muscles? Pecs.
Pecs. Yep.
So there you go. And then you have your rib cage that attaches underneath. So it's very important to just think of it like that. And that solves so many problems when it comes to female chest.
Yeah, it's such a great way to think about it. I know Frank Cho, when I saw him do that as well, it just made so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. When you start thinking of women as being like a different species, which is, it's so easy to do because we are very different, obviously. But, those differences are not as extreme as it's easy to kind of start thinking that they are.
Right. Okay, let's see. So that was Greg. Like and subscribe. Ask any book recommended. Any book, I guess, recommendation for studying master penciling.
Master penciling. Yes, inking. Look at the best inkers. That's what you're going for. Looking at a book of pencils is not gonna, like there's Jim Lee's Batman pencils. I've got a pencil graphic novel, Batman. Also, not to pimp my own work, but they did a Jim Lee one. They did one for me, and they did one for I think Andy Kubert, kind of around the same time. So those will show you pencils, and you can learn some things from it. But really, the point is that, as I was saying earlier, in order to pencil properly, it needs to be, it's the inks, like there's very little difference if I pencil tightly between my pencils and the inks. And so I learned entirely how to pencil by looking at inks. And that's really it's what you need. So yeah, I don't think that just studying penciling is actually ideal. I think, you're looking for, you want to be able to give it to an inker or ink it yourself and have a consistent product. And the way to do that is to make your pencils reflect the inks. So, any artist that you like, when you're studying the inks and you mimic that, you'll be in good shape.
Russ Stellard has a super chat. He asks, can David say anything about Terminal coming in the summer?
I can't. I don't really know what I can say about it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I can show.
Right.
Whatever. I'm going to show you the cover that I just did.
I think one of the covers was shown, wasn't it?
Right. Well, this one certainly wasn't because I just finished it. But, Meredith's not here to stop me. Let's see if I can find it. I've got all my stuff kind of organized, but it's all in one pile. Come on. Oh, here it is. All right. So this one I just did earlier this week. This is a bunch of the villains.
Whoa, that's great.
And Eric, I used the.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Tool. So there you go.
Oh wow, look at that. Even those thick, blotchy splatters to the right of the monster there.
That's kind of fingerprint, and then so some of this is just.
Oh no, sorry, on the right hand side.
Here.
Next,
yeah, that is actually. I used the softest, biggest one to get some of that. So yeah, there you go. That's some of the characters.
Great.
That are coming up. I think those characters have appeared. Like people have seen them, so I think I'm probably all right showing that. Maybe not. But again, no Meredith.
When she sees how far you've gotten, I'm in big trouble, right?
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna dip like right at. Yeah, I'm gonna bye. Yeah, well, I'm going.
She was thinking she would be back maybe even a little bit early. And I was thinking, yeah, we'll see about that. Like, it would not surprise me if we get through this whole thing and she just doesn't even make it back. Would not be shocked. We'll see how it goes.
There was a question about books to recommend for urban architecture. I know one that David recommended me, and that was really for buildings in destruction, but Akira, right? Akira has some great buildings.
Akira is great. Now it's for like modern kind of, this is 80s modern, but still modern. And it leans obviously more Japanese, but it's great. I also really, really recommend Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I will warn you that Ghost in the Shell angles into, some kind of R-rated content. So just be aware, but yeah, great stuff. For more, American, New York, that kind of thing. My favorites are, I really like Mike Mignola again. Like he's so good at everything. Why am I drawing a blank? I've got so many artists that I really like for that stuff. Let me think for a second. Kevin Nolan does some really cool like Batman City type stuff. Jeff Darrow, really good choice for buildings. Like really detailed, just crazy stuff. He's great. There's so many. Frank Quitely, actually.
Yeah. I think Brian Hitch too, right?
Brian Hitch. Yeah. Oh, okay. Brian Hitch.
The Authority, I think.
Yeah, if you get The Authority by Brian Hitch, actually, you know what? If that's what you're looking for, I think that's probably the best recommendation I could think of off the top of my head. I don't know that you could get better than that. So, also his book that made the Marvel Universe what it is, and that is Ultimates. We all have Brian Hitch.
I don't think I have that actually. Sadly, I should
Really?
I should fix that error. I'll
should.
that. Yeah.
We all have Brian Hitch to thank for Nick Fury as Samuel L. Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure. You don't know that?
No. Like I said, I'm an FD. First thing in the morning, I'm at the comic shop getting.
Yeah, in Ultimates, he used Samuel L. Jackson as his model for Nick Fury.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so when that appeared in the Iron Man movie, Samuel L. Jackson appeared. That was like one of the biggest geek out fan moments of all time. That was huge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. The other question, which I thought might be interesting, that you'll find interesting for sure, which I think comes down to composition, is any recommendations on making talking heads more visually appealing? Basically, comics that are just mostly people talking back and forth. I think that would just come down to. I know David did a very good video on composition and rule of thirds and over the shoulder type shots. I know that'll definitely help, but I thought that was a pretty good question.
Okay, I would say step one is work with a writer that doesn't do that to you. Truthfully, you know, it's comic books. When you're writing nothing but talking heads, you know, but then talking heads don't have to be just talking heads. There are a lot of choices that you can make. Like, for instance, you could have, and Marc Silvestri was great at this. You could have two people sitting in a diner, and he had a shot. I remember he drew this when I was just starting, and it's a really big close-up of the guy's teeth biting down on a burger, and then the person in the background. Or you can have, like, just framing your shots and taking other, like, you find different things in the environment, whatever that environment is, and frame your shot, pull out, show more of the figures, have them do things. You know, it gives them a lot of character. You can only get so much out of just heads. So, you know, if you so this is such a classic, obviously, but nobody does this anymore for a very good reason. But, you know, smoking was like a big one that gives you like something to do with your hands. You know, you could have somebody lazily scrolling through their phone because they're not really paying attention, or, you know, whatever. You just want to use your imagination and try to, you know, animate your characters so they're not just standing there.
Like deadpan characters. Yeah,
that makes a big difference. And then, nothing worse than when writers do that to you.
River Easley, $20 super chat. Hey David, thank you for inspiring me to take drawing seriously. I've started earning from commissions, but I've got a long way to go to improve my skills. Your advice keeps me motivated. I appreciate everything you share.
Well, that's great. And thank you very much. It's very generous. That's great to hear. Yeah, the transition from, you know, once you start getting paid for your art, you're a pro. And, you know, definitely you get so much out of doing commissions. You know, you learn so much, but don't let it take you away from storytelling and backgrounds and the kinds of things that you have to do, you know, for storytelling, because it can be easy to lose focus on that kind of stuff because it doesn't really apply to commissions generally. But that's great. I'm so glad. You know, lately at conventions, I've talked to artists that have, these are all artists that they did this themselves. They made their own way, and, you know, they watched a video that maybe hopefully, you know, helped with something. And so they say, yeah, I watched your stuff and, you know, it was really helpful. And I can't tell you how gratifying that is to feel like, you know, like I have some small part in helping, you know, artists that are miles better than me.
Let's see. Circle of Matt. Hi, David. How would you create the effect of a record spinning on a turntable? And he says Batman's looking good.
Well, thank you.
That's an interesting one.
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. If I would show a record on a turntable, you know, like a close up of the record here. This is what is in my head anyway, and there's always reference. So, you know, take it for what it is. But so I've got my record, and then I've got the needle, and you know, the centerpiece here. I would reference this, but see, the thing is, the detail on the record itself naturally follows like the detail you would do if it's spinning. So it would naturally fight trying to, like, it would look like that if it's sitting still, which is why I say I don't know. If you tried to get more serious, like, you know, to have like extra like lines around or whatever, it would just start looking odd because, you know, the record's not that active. So yeah, that is a very good question. I apologize for not having a better answer, but I would be stumped by that. It'd be very difficult for me to try and figure out. Did I lose you, Eric?
No, I'm just trying to see out. Yeah, I'm trying to see in the chat here. Sean Allen says musical notes. Yeah, that would be really that'd be really a cartoon key for sure.
No, but that could actually really work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I think I actually, there you go. Sean Allen, thank you. That is actually great advice, and it totally would work. And now you know that the record is playing, all visual.
Yeah. Jay Perez has a good idea. Jay Perez art, the needle being on the record would hint at it being played. I guess you could have a nice shot where you see the needle scraping the record.
I did do that. I had the needle on there, sort of. Maybe it wasn't all that clear, but yes. Yeah, you know, you wouldn't show a needle on a record unless it's playing, right? Generally. So I guess that would certainly infer it. But yeah, I love the musical notes idea. That is a great idea. That would totally do it. This is where I've had a few times where I've had like scenes that have otherwise been drawn by other artists, maybe not the exact, but close enough. And you see the choices they make and how inventive and interesting the choices are. And it's like a little soul destroying because I didn't make those choices. It just never occurred to me. I would have, just didn't think about it.
Mosiah Lees, can you do a tutorial on superpower effects? Dave actually has on Gumroad. You did a special effects one, right?
Did I?
Believe so. Maybe Russ can check real quick. Might be on David's Gumroad.
Okay, well, don't buy it on Gumroad. We'll make that coming up. I think that's a very good idea for a tutorial. And so, yes, I will.
Okay, great. Yeah. There was another question here, which I think it's an important one because we've all been there. And hi, David. I've been drawing for a year, but I feel down because my progress is slow. It's like I'm on a 100-story staircase and I've only moved half a step. What should I do? That's pretty common, man. You just gotta.
That is.
I feel for you. You just gotta, just keep grinding. You know.
Well, okay, yeah.
I know that's the short answer.
Well, that's honestly, you know,
not good answer.
Not a helpful answer.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it's true. You do have to keep grinding, but you want to do it smart. And that actual exact question came up earlier in this this stream. So I would refer you back to that. I think I answered that one. I want to say probably about 15 minutes in or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, just, you know, later on or right now or whatever, you know, just refer back to it. And there is a reason that you're stalling, and that is you're not taking in new things. So you're relying entirely on what you already know, and the natural state of that is you have to stall because you're not bringing any new things in. So you need to be constantly looking at, you know, reference for ideas and trying things when you draw. It's really what it comes down to. but you need to know how to do that effectively, and which is what we kind of covered. And I'll be covering in some videos coming up, but we really covered it earlier on in the stream.
I think realizing you're hitting a plateau is a very important thing too.
Yeah, well, you're going to hit a plateau.
Yeah,
It's inevitable.
how it is. Yeah.
If you're just drawing, and this is, I'm going to sit down and draw, and you just draw something like the way that I am right now. I could not ever get better doing this. I could get faster, but I can't become a better artist because I'm not bringing any new knowledge in. I'm just drawing. If I want to get better, I need to bring in, new knowledge and new ideas, and, lighting from different people, and maybe I don't draw feet that well. I'm not going to get better just by drawing another foot the way that I did before. So I find somebody like Claire Wendling who does it beautifully, and, take some of what she's got going on. And you have to be doing that all the time in studies, but also, when you're working, you can take elements. Like if I'm going to copy a foot from somebody or something, it's rare that it's one for one, because it's amazing how you just cannot find the exact thing you're looking for.
Yeah. Also, regarding his question, sometimes it's impossible to just take everything in one session. I mean, our brain will only take so much and reject everything else. You just got to keep. You got to know that, and then know that you will eventually absorb stuff that you're practicing. It's just there's only so much you can do at any given time. So
yeah, and that is very, very true.
Okay, let's see if there's any. Okay, right back. Messiah Elise, can you draw a Ninja Turtle in the future? Dave actually has. I think Dave has 2 Ninja Turtles on his Instagram.
Yeah, I don't think
one was a full painting. I think the other one was on the Monday Night Draw cardstock, I think.
Yeah, I've never done it for a stream. I think that'd be a really good idea.
That would actually be a blast.
I had another one. Somebody asked. This is a couple weeks ago, and I said absolutely, and I can't believe I haven't done it before. And then, like tonight, when it came up, I just could not remember. So we're doing this one, but it'll pop into my head again.
What artists do you recommend for learning feet? Wait, hold on. Let's see if Alan Davis. And there was another artist. Don't tell me. You referenced him in your Gnomon videos.
For feet?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna remember that.
If it's in Gnomon, it's probably not Claire Wendling. Claire Wendling's girl, first of all, but also I think that's before I found her artwork.
I need to find this comic now. It's going to drive me nuts. And it's basically the exact structure that you have in Gnomon is from that comic.
Huh.
I'll have to step up here in a bit and try and find it. Bart Sears, yes, Bart Sears is amazing. That foot trick that he showed us is absolutely incredible. So that would be in his Brutes and Babes. Who else, Dave? I know you like Wallywood for like boots and stuff.
Yep.
Sorry, I feel like I kind of hijacked your question there.
No.
I'm trying to find this comic now.
I'm so behind on this.
I'm sorry.
Meredith is here, by the way. I can hear her upstairs.
Oh dear.
There's always the chance that she will just try to pretend she's not here and skip. That could happen. But
you hear the floors creaking. She's trying to walk slowly. Yeah.
You can't hide coming in here. The dogs make too much noise.
Let's see who asked that question. Where is it? Andrew Law. Okay, I'll ping Andrew Law when I find it. Greg, static art. I struggle a lot with this pose. One of my problems is trying to connect the delts, pecs, and traps. Yeah, they're all interconnected.
Yeah, I know it's something that you've been, and now I feel like you're doing it actually, Greg, very well. I know it's something that kind of perennially you've been struggling with and feeling uncomfortable with, but I think it's actually really coming along well with your work.
Okay, Russ helped me out. Gil Kane.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Gil Kane's feet are not his feet, but his comic, his drawings feet.
So Gil Kane, back in the day, he did a lot of comics where he would just do breakdowns, basically structural drawings that other people would do finishes of, and his breakdowns are like incredible, and they're a great resource because they're like art school. You see how everything is structured, and the way he structured his feet, the way he structured everything. Like I really, really recommend looking at. You can find it online. You can't find a book of those things, but you can just look for like Gil Kane breakdowns, or I think that will probably find it. Anyway,
so good.
Yeah, definitely recommend.
Yeah, some others picked up on Gil Kane too. Gil Kane could draw boots. Yeah, very good. Batman statue collector. David, I'm finally getting to see Bane on Thursday. I'm so freaking excited. By the way, is this one spoken for? Love it.
It is not, and thank you. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you think of it. I'm happy. That's great.
Andrew says it was more of a joke question. Well, you know what? It's if anyone is wanting to improve how their feet are structured and drawn, those are definitely the right avenues to go down.
There is, and you know what? There's no such thing as a joke question around here. You know what? I take that back. I say that, and then we'll start getting some really crazy stuff. But I thought it was actually a very good question. Might have been a joke, but I think it was not a bad question at all. Here's my big hooks for Henry.
Oh yeah, Atomic Jinx. The strawberry shortcake painting you did was with Ninja Turtles. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Uh-oh. I think there's movement near you, Dave.
Yeah.
I can read.
We kind of fell off the rails a little bit because Eric is just as bad as I am. Like, people ask questions, and we're both like,
Man, Dave's throwing me under the bus right away.
It's both of our thing. Yeah, you're right. I totally am. That's totally what you did.
It's all Eric's fault. I'll read the last one, and then I'll
you got to
hand off the reins. What's that?
You don't have to live with her.
Hi, Dave. Do you remember watching the first Avengers movie that came out in 2012? Any recollection of what went through your head seeing these characters come to life? The MCU did something unprecedented.
Oh, yeah. I certainly remember watching it. And I had the same feeling that I had watching X-Men. I was drawing at Ultimate X-Men at the time. This is not X-Men #1 because I was still at Top Cow, but one of the X-Men movies came out, and I can't remember which. And just watching some of the things that they're doing with the characters' powers, there was a scene with Nightcrawler and some of the stuff that they did. I thought, okay, part of it's a movie, sure. So, they have the ability to do some things that you can't do with a still image, but they were so creative with his powers. It was so amazing. In the Avengers movie, the same thing. Like visually, it was amazing. The story was phenomenal, but they just were so inventive with the way that they had the characters using their powers and stuff that I just would not have thought of. And that was very, very cool. And yeah, it's something pretty magical about seeing, we've all gotten used to it by now, but the early days watching some of that stuff on screen was pretty amazing. So we have Meredith here.
Yes,
Hello.
They saw the rare Meredith sighting as I had to get around the table.
Oh, you pass the camera?
I
Yeah.
want to pass the camera to the rare Meredith sighting.
There you go.
The cough, named Sharks, the cough announced Meredith.
Well, the dogs actually did originally. I knew you were home.
And yeah, the dogs.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for coming
you're
on.
welcome.
And,
Meredith.
yeah, bailing me out.
Only 15 minutes.
No, you're not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I think I got all the super chats. If I missed any, I'm sure it'll be made known.
I'm sure will.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Eric, for
thank you.
For the night.
Not a problem.
All right. I'll talk to you.
Okay, I'll see you guys. Okay, bye.
All right, so what have we talked about? What did I miss?
I have
What
no
happened?
Nothing. I didn't even do the book of the week because we fell behind talking about art so much.
Didn't even do the book of the week. The stream's only going on for 15 minutes.
15 minutes. It's 8 o'clock. The stream starts at 7.
Oh. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now I see what you mean when you say you're 15 minutes late.
Yeah, no, I was thinking start at 8 a.m. Sorry. I'm an hour and 15 minutes late. So you haven't even done the book of the week. So should we do the book of the week?
No, I'm going to skip because I'm so far behind on this.
And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be that late. I'm only 15 minutes late. Well, dinner was great.
Good.
Did you tell everybody what I was doing?
Yeah, you're doing a taste. I did say I managed to
Tasting for the wedding.
manage to get out of it.
You know, a month and 10 days away. So I brought home food, although not as much food as I could have because Everett took the bulk share. There was supposed to be 5 of us, and there ended up only being 3. And they thought we were having 6, so there was that much more.
And Everett still ate for 10 people.
Oh yeah, sure he did. Sure he did.
Yeah.
So.
He's a growing boy.
And then he had the nerve to say to me, because as only a son can say, the restaurant was cool when we got there. He's like, I'm freezing. And normally I'm the cold one because I'm always cold. I'm like, it's fine. It's not that bad. He's like, well, Mom, girls generally have 10 to 15% more body fat than men. I was like, are you just calling me fat?
That's what he's doing.
He just called me fat to my face. Only a son can do.
Is that where you pointed out that you're paying for the wedding?
That's when I pointed out that I was paying for the wedding, yes.
Yeah. That doesn't have to come up all the time unless you say something like that. At that point.
Buggers. Kids are the worst.
So you wanted to show the baby, right? I was kind of looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. How do you want me to do that?
Just give me your phone. We'll just do it that way. You were going to send me stuff, and everybody's been busy.
That being said, I did download the birth video today. It's not edited.
I don't think we can really show that on YouTube.
But I'll put it on my Instagram. So if anybody follows me on Instagram, I think it's at Finch Farm Gypsies. And then you'll be able to see the birth video if you want to see a baby horse being born in the middle of the night. And I have. Did you tell the story?
No.
So then we'll tell the story.
Oh, good.
Because I'm here. And I have video evidence that confirms the truth of your word.
My word being?
Your side of the story.
How could
she
it?
was standing when you went to bed.
Oh, okay.
So I know exactly what when that happened.
Oh, you think I was lying to you?
No. I was like, when did you go to bed? But by 4 o'clock, Dave,
yeah,
she was like, she went down at 3:52.
Yeah, like 10 minutes after I went to bed.
You went to bed at 3:40? When did you go to bed? Because you told me you went to bed at 4. So is the story changing now?
Okay, the story didn't change. All of a sudden you said 3:40.
I said she laid down at 3:52.
Okay.
So if you went to bed at like 3:50.
Yeah, like 10 minutes before I went to bed. I don't know how that's my story changing.
10 minutes before you went to bed is 3:40.
It's so good to have you here.
I don't understand.
All right, I'm done.
Am I the only one who don't be so grumpy? All right, here we go. I'm coming up with a baby photo.
Okay.
Distracting me from the baby photo. Now I'm on my videos.
Point being, though, I had that baby camera for a week. I was staying up because Meredith needed to sleep at some point. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 or whatever every night watching that thing. And then I would hand it off to her and she would, take over. She wakes up crazily early.
4 o'clock today.
So
4
there you go.
o'clock today. So
Well, anyway, the day that it finally happened, Friday, it was Friday night,
Yep.
Saturday morning. I went to bed at almost 4. I came up, she's still sleeping. I thought, you know what? This horse not going to have a baby at 4 o'clock in the morning. She's just been standing the whole time. I'm just going to let her sleep a little bit. Well, 10 minutes later, that's what happened.
here. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's, just
No executive decisions.
And so, I've been hearing about it for, what day is it? Monday? 3 days.
She's only barely 48 hours old. So you've been hearing it for slightly over 48 hours.
So there you go. There's the baby. She came out great. She's enormous for a baby because she was so late. So she's pretty big.
Oh, you're so grouchy now.
It's not grouchy.
No, I can sense the grouch in your voice.
I didn't sleep enough. I've been fighting hard to try to make sure to not be like a total jerk on the stream.
Oh, so now that I'm home and you're letting your jerk flag fly.
See, this is my problem.
You can't even help it. I'm here and you're like, finally, Meredith's here. I can be myself again.
Yeah.
I don't have to be nice anymore. All right, here we go. I have a super chat. Hey, Dave. This is from Michael Clyburn. Hey, Dave, it's me again. We met at Baltimore last year and you viewed my portfolio and said I was what they were looking for. I have made some connects, so getting much closer to the dream. Thank you so much.
That is great. It's great to hear. And I remember it was really amazing stuff. My critique at the time really was just it wasn't enough. Like I needed to see more. What I saw looked phenomenal. So I'm certainly not surprised that it's going well. And I'm glad that it is. That's awesome. So hopefully that will, bear fruit soon and you can be in deadline hell with the rest of us. I say it sounds so negative. I really don't even mean it that way. That's not me being grumpy. So I know it's terrible.
Eric, come back. Make him be nice again.
Look, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would not trade it for the world.
Oh, hold on. Sam Kutcher. Eric Grove, can you please notify Dave he's missed one shoulder plate because he was probably explaining something while drawing it.
Oh, you're right. Let me fix it. He's got 3 on this side and 2 on this side.
Yes. Henry Jeremick wants to know, Meredith, is it a boy or a girl and what is the horse's name? So it's a little girl, or in the horse world, we would say she's a filly. And her mom's name is Spice of Life. And her dad's name is Too Spooky. And I give you that so that you know why we named her She's Too Spicy. Because it combines her dad's name with her mom's name. And then, so you give them a show name. So that's her show name. She's Too Spicy. But then, and that has like an FFG, which means Finch Farm Gypsies. So everybody who sees FFG knows that she came from our barn. And then her barn name, or the name that she'll go by every day, because you're not going to go, she's too spicy in the barnyard, is Eliana, which means God has answered.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I think her new family, because she's already sold, she has a new family she'll be going to when she's weaned, is going to call her Ellie, which we intended when we called her Eliana. So, but that is her name, the intention behind her name, and obviously we're thrilled, and we're thrilled that she found a future home, which is amazing so fast. So,
yeah. Well, the nice thing is
good all the time, and yeah.
And we have her for 8 months, which is nice.
Yeah, we've
I hate to see her just.
She'll go to her new home. She was the best. And okay, we can do the whole, like, we all know that Meredith and David are people of faith, but Meredith especially is a very strong faith, and I'm not shy about it. And April, we have a lot of family birthdays. So I thought April 11th, she'd be born. That would be awesome. It's my dad's birthday. April 14th, she'd be born. That's my sister's birthday. Still no baby. She's born on April 18th, which is the birthday of her new mama. She was born on her new mama's birthday. So the woman who's going to own her and love her for the rest of her life, she was born on her birthday. And you know, I'm a storyteller, but there's only one person or one being. There's only one who could write that story, and that's God. So an amazing, give me chills. I could not believe it. God wrote that storytelling. And so that's why God is answered, is her name, and we are absolutely thrilled, and so is her new mama. Amazing. Black Tiger says that's my friend's daughter's name. It's a beautiful name, Eliana. Just a beautiful name.
Nice name.
Henry says my horse is a spicy girl. Henry, she is right now.
I'm sitting here rolling my eyes because I can't stand it when things just get smalty.
You're afraid of your emotions, though.
Nuts.
Not everybody's afraid of their emotions, Dave.
Yeah, well, some people are, and they're sitting right here.
Well, you know.
There we go. He's got his other, and thank you for that. Yeah, it's much better having
added that. There we go. He added it in.
Much better.
Good. All right. Here is a question. Oh, Kirby. From the Real Chewy's Walkabout. Can you explain in detail? And I know we've done this before, but people always want to know, and this is a good question. Can you explain in detail the line of beauty, when to apply it and how, and expand on what you mentioned in one of your videos?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to finish his neck really quick.
And Navy Shark says, whoa, that horse has a better backstory for her name than me. LOL.
Okay.
Intentional naming. And, you know, God made it easy, so.
So you already know this, but the line of beauty is just a longer curve followed by an opposing shorter curve. That's really all it is. It can be, you know, much shorter or long or, you know, softer. So it's just that, and that's really all it is. I think it's great to use almost everywhere. It works really, really well. It's very, very effective. And it's just a natural organic form. Like I've got this shape here, and I'm going to have that naturally kind of just in that shape. It's not going to work everywhere. I can't draw a line of beauty across a bicep because it has this kind of a shape to it. But even then, the bottom of it, see, I've got this curve here followed by that curve coming out there. So it will naturally just show up in organic forms, and being aware of it will help make your forms much more organic naturally. So I've got this shape going into this shape, and it's great for that. It's great for hair. You don't want hair just to fall lank. So just applying that, and then, you know, this will be a little bit more of an extreme, I guess, curve here, another one here. I want to vary my sizes, so I don't end up with something where I've got here's hair and another one and another one, and it'll start looking really fake. And see, for this hair here, I've got my curve coming to another one, and then I've curved the other way too. I mean, you can certainly do that. It's, you know, it's not like you have to just have this curve and that curve, period, you know, but it's something to really be aware of with any kind of organic shape. So I'm doing the same thing here. Her hair looks terrible. I know, it's, you know, but that's really how I use it for things like hair, drapery, for, you know, organic forms, anything like that. I think the only time it really wouldn't apply is if you're drawing something like, you know, a car or like a mechanical kind of a thing. Then it's really not going to apply so much. You also have to worry about like your anatomical shapes. Like when you're, you know, like there are places where, so I'm going to draw a finger, and the easiest way to draw a finger, I know, is just draw a shape like this. And this really isn't using this. This is using just kind of peaks. And then a curve for the underside. And you can see the underside curve here is a natural line of beauty. And it just connects really nicely. And it looks really, I'll put my little fingernail on there. And so it's just an organic shape that just appears all over the place. So, I mean, that's really how you use it. I wouldn't even actually stress too much about it. The only places where you kind of want to stress, like actually think about it, you know, really are places like hair, and I guess non-anatomical or organic shapes, because being aware of it can really, you know, help make those look more natural.
Fabulous. Thank you. All right. I have another super chat from Michael Clyburn. Michael said, I remember you said tangents and more consistent details on backgrounds. Dave, you're a humanitarian.
Well, thank you very much.
That was
Michael.
in response to what you said to Michael and that he needed to work on.
Oh, well, thank you
his
very much.
portfolio.
Michael.
And now he's almost there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, his stuff it's there. It's just a matter of, you know, you get your work to a particular point, and especially if you're drawing in a style that is really what they're looking for, it is just a matter of time, you know. Where it becomes more of a struggle is if you're working in a style that is at all odds with, you know, kind of what the current trend is. And I'm not saying that you should just draw to the trend. I mean, we're artists, you know, but you will find it more challenging. So it's just something to be aware of. Like it will be more of a challenge. So you can be a very, very talented artist, and editors are afraid to take a chance because it's just not, you know, the current thing that they're pushing. It's just how it is. And, you know, the other end of that is this happened in the 70s. It happened in the 80s. It happens less now. Like there's more room for artists to be out of date. I'm out of date now. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm still kind of going strong. Like I'm still all right. But it used to be like in the 90s when the image guys came along, there were so many artists that were working in like a really John Byrne kind of inspired style that all of a sudden had an incredible difficulty finding work. Like it just dried up overnight because all of a sudden that's just not what editors were looking for. And some of those artists adapted and started drawing in more of an image style. Other artists chose not to do that and had, you know, a few tough years. And, you know, they all managed to come back and do fine. But yeah, they went out of style for a little while. So yeah, something to think about is if you want it to be really easy to break in and, you know, have the easiest path possible, working in the style that you see most often out there that's current, trying to do something like that will make your life much easier. And you can branch off and kind of do your own thing from there. So if you know you have something particular you want to do, or you can go the same Keith path and just be completely individual in your own kind of artist. Daniel Warren Johnson, Jay Lee, you know, so many artists do that and have, you know, like some of the greatest stuff. And it takes a lot of guts and it's a harder path.
All right. Next super chat comes from Average Giuseppe. How do you go about a fight scene from a low angle?
Well, okay. I'm thinking about how I'm going to answer that question. See, the problem with the fight scene is, it ends up being very, very broad because it can cover a lot of ground. And I feel like I could just show, you know, here's two people, and I will, that I'm going to do an example of two people punching, or one person punching and the other person being punched. And I'm going to do it from a low angle, but I want to stress, I'm kind of, you know what, I should just get started while I'm talking about it. I really want to point out that this applies to any shot from a low angle. It's not just people fighting. So let's do 2 panels, and I'm going to have to go fairly loose with these, but so here's one panel. I'm going to have people just standing around. And then the other panel will have somebody punching and hitting another person. So I'm looking up at this shot. So what I want to do first is I'm going to imagine let's just place my horizon here for this panel. So it's, if you're looking up, this is your eye level and you're looking up into the panel. I'm going to put a perspective point here and here. And I don't need to like go all crazy with a ruler, but just having a general idea. If you can't just easily visualize it, and when you're starting, it's difficult to do that. It can be helpful just to give yourself a bit of a guide. And you can see how this will work in a second because I'm going to follow this guide to draw my figures. So here we go. I'm going to draw one figure. And you see how I'm following the perspective? Here's his chest. Here's his head. His features are all going to follow my perspective. Put his arm on his leg and his hand out, and he's talking with his hand. We had a question about, how to make talking heads more interesting. Well, hand gestures certainly help with that too. I'm going to draw my other person here. Now, because I'm going to draw him here, because of the height that this person's standing at, if they're standing together, I can't draw his head here. He'd be way below. So he would be his head would be about here. His chest would be, so basically I'm going to put his hand on his hip, and here he is standing here. Here's a pants pocket. This is about what I would see from that angle if I don't cheat it at all. You can cheat a bit. So there you go. A lot of times, and I'm going to erase this. I'm going to do a different shot because the truth is I would never pick that angle. And so let me just draw my perspective in again. Okay, so I'm going to draw my head here, and this is all in perspective. My shoulder is going to be here, and so this is my guy in the foreground, and now I'm going to draw the guy in the background, and they're going to be basically lined up, in perspective, close enough. I don't need to be perfect. I mean, it's not, you can be, but it's not really all that necessary to be perfect with it. You just want to be pretty good. And so I've got both of these figures in perspective. I can put my word balloons here and, like a building here, whatever it is. That's people talking, and just your average panel looking up at it. Up angles are always easier, by the way. Unless you have trouble drawing a figure looking up at it, the reason why looking up is easier is you're not having to draw. Like if you're looking at a city, when you look down, you even might have to draw cars on the streets and like craziness. If you're looking up, you just draw tops of buildings. And that kind of applies to a lot of things. Okay. Like if I was looking down at these figures, I'd have to draw the full figure. That's tougher, or more of the figure. So now I'm going to draw people punching, and it's going to be the same thing. Let's do the same basic lines for perspective. I don't have to draw my people on these lines, but this gives me like just mentally a space that I'm working in. And so I'm going to draw a guy. He's getting hit. He's got teeth knocked out, his arms back like this, his hands here. Here's his ears, his neck. He's getting punched. And now I'm going to draw the fist from the guy that's punching him. And I hate how I did it. So I would never normally, when I do these kind of study, like trying to think like this, it puts me in a weird spot, and I end up doing things that I wouldn't normally do, and I have trouble with it. But let's see if I can figure this out a little better. There we go. I think that works better. So he's punching. This guy's head's whipping around. I'm looking up at the shot. And so now I could draw buildings or whatever I want in there, and, the whole thing. That's really how I would approach it. When you have people fighting, I can't just follow the perspective that I have because people are moving at all kinds of different angles. So it is a little bit more difficult. But I do think that just if it's something you're kind of like not entirely sure of, either draw in lines with a ruler using a horizon or just sketch it really quickly like I did. Just you kind of give yourself a mental space, and it can be very helpful.
Merci. I feel like my stream froze, but you're still drawing. So just, oh no, my chat, like, I'm good. I'm good.
I was going to say maybe we
I'm good.
warm
No,
out.
I'm good. You know what I haven't done yet? And I'm just new. Like, I haven't even been here for half an hour, but I haven't hit my like button yet. So I'm doing it right now. 529. I don't know. Maybe not, because it didn't move when I hit it. So that means 529, 530. Who knows? Who's to say? I hit like. If you hit like, and I already subscribed, but if you haven't, you know what to do. Hit your subscribe button. Be part of a family of 571,000 people who love Dave.
Yeah, if you subscribe, a horse gets its wings.
No horse gets their wings. That means they go to heaven. We don't want horses to go to heaven.
Oh, right. Is that
No.
right? Okay.
No. If you subscribe, you get to be part of a super cool family. And yeah, part of the Fidge flock. How about that?
And I get to go around bragging that I have. How many people do we have now?
571. You don't brag about anything, so
Yeah, I do.
do you?
Yeah.
You brag about your wife and how amazing she is.
Oh, you should have heard me while you were gone.
Were you complaining about me?
No. And actually, I really wasn't. I really wasn't.
I mean, I know you do.
I don't know that I was bragging about you necessarily, but I wasn't complaining about you. How's
Were you
that?
saying good things or bad things?
We weren't talking about you at all.
Well, see, like, what would you even say that? Get myself all excited that you might actually care about me watching cameras till 4 o'clock in the night, like you do love me or something.
We were having guy time.
Were you enjoying your guy time?
I was.
I'm glad. And yet, you're stuck with me
Oh, I enjoy my Meredith time too.
every night. I personally enjoy my Meredith Dave time that involves foot rubbing. Those are my favorite times.
Yeah, I have no illusions that it's my mere presence,
You know what, though? It is your mere presence because I can't sleep when you're not with me.
because without my mere presence, you can't get your feet rubbed.
No, but it puts me to sleep. You relax me. Your presence makes me feel safe. Safe enough to close my eyes and relax into the arms of slumber.
Okay, all I'm going to say is if you are new to a relationship or you're not in one yet or whatever, avoid the foot rub, because you do it once and now it's your job.
No, you not even stop. You can't even help yourself. You're
Yeah,
like,
I need to do something with my hands. I actually do go kind of crazy if
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there.
yeah, he needs to do something with his hands. I need to have my feet rubbed. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's almost like God knew what he was doing when he put us together. What is that thing on the floor over there?
I don't know.
Painting, but looks like a lion, but it's not a lion.
This one here?
Yeah.
I
What is that?
It's a semi copy of a Simon Bisley painting. I was
Is it?
working. It's
Is-
just
Is it a lion, but not a lion?
no, it's a guy's head, but it's
Oh.
just basically I wanted to try and work with some of the textures.
It's a big
Like I was
ass head.
experimenting. So I wasn't really planning on anyways, it was never intended to be anything finished, which is why it really doesn't look like anything. But that's what it is.
Fair enough. I mean, to give you an idea, I thought it was a lion. Greg Static Art has a super chat. Greg says, had a panel note for a character flying to a building. The character's emotion and the buildings are described. I don't know how to make a panel that shows emotion and buildings. So I don't
Okay.
know how to make a panel that shows both, he says.
Okay, for a second there I thought I shut down the stream. So you're gonna have to repeat that for me. I'm sorry.
Why did you think you shut down the screen?
I moved my mouse and button clicked and something changed on the screen.
Still, stream's still live.
Good,
509 people. So, Greg, I'm going to read this again. He had a panel note
Right.
for a character flying to a building.
Yeah.
The character's emotion and the building are described. Greg says, I don't know how to make a panel that shows both.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. and see if we can make it work. But I just want to point out that you always have another panel that you can add. This is always an option. So never be afraid, because this happens to me sometimes where I get boxed in by a writer, the best of writers. It will happen sometimes where maybe it's my limitation, and it is actually very possible because, you know, you find another artist that could pull it off, and that's fine. But if I can't pull it off, storytelling is number one. Like, I need to tell a story. So if you need his expression, you need the building, you need it. And so I would make it 2 panels if I can't figure it out. But we're going to try and make it work with one. Might falling off here. Okay, and I don't know what his expression is supposed to be for your particular thing, but I'm just going to make him look like he's afraid, just because, you know, it doesn't really matter what the expression is. The point is just getting the expression reading. My drawing here is not going to be great, but, you know, this is not really the point. So here he is, he's flying, have his hair back, maybe he's got a cape, and then I can see, you know, the building in the background, and he's flying toward it. Maybe his other hands here be a little more interesting. But just as a general rule, general, but there you go. You can see he's flying toward the building. I'm actually cheating his face. Like, strictly speaking, for the building to be there, for him to be flying directly toward it, you wouldn't really see his face. But imagine like a stage play where they're always kind of facing toward the audience a little bit. Nobody ever turns their head directly away from the audience. That's kind of a rule. And you want to do the same thing here. So you kind of cheat the head around a little bit, and it will read like it does read like he's looking at that building, even if I've tilted his head a little bit towards you so you can see his expression. So there you go. That's how I would approach that. Or you can go the 2-panel route. But yeah, there's no doubt that is that's a tough ask. Meredith is shut down like a robot.
Sorry.
It's all right. I accused Erica of doing that earlier too.
Blah, blah, blah.
You read the chat and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes time when you're reading the chat. Like, you want to read the comments.
I immediately, when you go quiet or when Eric goes quiet, I feel like I'm just sitting here myself.
Yeah, you're not by yourself. It's okay.
I know, because I never look up, so I need my interface with the.
Johnny Dominion, here you go, has a super chat. Johnny says, Dave is killing it with absolute Batman like I knew he would. So awesome.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Swiping Nick Dragotta shamelessly right now.
And then Adam Meyer.
Haven't heard from Adam Meyer for a
I know
couple weeks.
Adam's here. Adam says, Meredith, it was my birthday last Friday. Let's do this. You know what's coming. Absolutely, Adam. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adam. Last Friday. Happy birthday to you. I hope it was awesome and you have many more. It's been a long time since somebody asked for the birthday song.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was all out.
That was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time.
You always do.
To think I was all happy to see Adam. I'm like, hey, it's Adam. Or Adam.
Adam Meyer.
Adam Meyer. I'm sorry.
Adam Meyer, because remember, I will never forget Adam because I remember how to say his name because of the Oscar Mayer Wiener song.
And I said Adam, and for some reason, Lambert popped into my head. Remember the guy that was on American Idol?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And then he was part of what band was he part of? In Excess.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wasn't he?
I think, it was Adam.
No, that's Adam Lambert.
Singing.
Was that Adam Lambert? No.
That's who we were talking about. There was a guy that was in Journey who was phenomenal. We saw Journey in concert.
Was it Adam? No, it wasn't Adam Lambert who was part of In Excess. It was the guy from...
Adam Lambert was in one of those bands.
Yeah, no, I know. But it was not... It was... crap. It was a different guy that was part of In Excess.
Okay, I don't know. Hey, have I ever bragged to you guys that I know Chris Daughtry?
Oh, stop. You don't even... 2 years ago, 3 years ago. When was the last time you heard from Chris?
Well, ages, but still.
Derek Moore has a super chat. When rendering materials, how do you decide how much middle tone or hatching there is? Skin seems more subtle and has midtones. But dark materials seem more graphic. How to not over-render dark materials?
You actually make a very good point. Dark materials, I tend to rely more on solid shadow. And when I do that, I do have a choice. I can render totally. As long as the shadows really work, I can put as much rendering in there as I want, and it'll just make everything really dark. But and it depends on the style you want to go for. My work tends to be very shadow shape focused. And so it's hard for me to say, this section I'll just do with rendering and this I'll do with shadow because it's darker. So what I end up doing is like his chest is much darker here because the symbol on his chest is very dark, and it shows more light around it. You know what? Actually, a better example is on his arms here. I had a similar amount of rendering, maybe even more on the shadowed parts, but I have much heavier shadow drawn through on both sides of them. And so it doesn't really come down to the rendering so much as it comes down to the way that you place the shadows, how heavy and like the same form can have a very thin shadow or it can have a very heavy shadow, and that's kind of how I would delineate dark and light things, not so much the rendering. For me, rendering tends to be, it has a few different purposes. It adds, it softens a form. I want to make that just a little bigger. It softens form. It also shows a way the form is moving in space. Like if I've got something coming towards you and I render around it, that really sells the fact that it's coming towards you or away or whatever it is. I like it for that. I also I can create a lot of contrast in a picture by having, solid lights. I render everything so much, but what I'm going to do with I'm going to do it with this leg. And actually, I don't even know that I was planning on it. I'm going to do it now. And let's do this. And the reason I would do this is I want this leg to not be central to my composition. I want this to be central, and I want this to kind of fade back. And so I'm going to heavily render this and kill it back in the picture. And I do this all the time.
And it was JD Fortune. We watched, and you guys might not even know
for
this.
Journey, right?
No, for In Excess.
Oh.
Remember when we watched the Canadian version of Rockstar?
Yeah.
And then JD Fortune made an album with In Excess, and it was amazing.
Oh, okay.
But then he had some usage issues.
No, it's too bad.
And they had to let him go.
That
which was it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then Adam Lambert sung for Queen.
That's right. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Young Sinatra says, Dave, I need help getting more superhero-y contours on the face from the top of the farther brow cheekbone to the chin, especially at different angles.
From the top of the brow to the chin. Is that right? Sorry, Meredith. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Top of the brow to the chin. Okay, well, My easy answer for that one, and I'm going to say this first while I draw, and then we'll just do a quick study. But my easy answer for it is you want to look at an artist that does that well. And earlier on, I made a younger character old using my Frank Frazetta Johnny comic book. And if that's something you're struggling with, if you feel like, you know what, you're not really getting those proportions, I would say the same thing would apply. You can do studies. You can also, as you're drawing, find like a comic by Jim Lee. You know, I mean, you're not going to get better superhero faces than Jim Lee. He's the absolute master. So, what time is it? I don't want to push Meredith too hard here. This is a problem. So you know what, Meredith, it's a good question, and I want to do it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me find my. Yeah, I've had that comic for a little while. All right. So, you know what? First, I'm going to draw a face, and then we're going to find something that kind of works. So I'm going to draw, you know, here's a face. I'm going to do my head angle that I do all the time for sketches and commissions and stuff. And now that I've said it, you'll never unsee it if you look at anything that I draw. And I'm going to make it like a very weak face. So, you know, the chin is going to be fairly receding, not much of a jaw. He's going to be very soft here. Give him a big ear. So there we go. And I want him to be much more superheroic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up this book here, because, man, how can you beat this stuff? I don't need to find the exact shot, so I'm not going to drive myself crazy. I could drive Meredith crazy by looking through this for the next half hour, but I want to find something that's going to be, you know, decently, you know, close. Let's see. The problem is every artist is different, and so I probably, you know what, that's a good example. It's going to be good enough. Or this one is a good example, but we're going to use this. Hopefully it's still on the screen. I know I'm covering here. All right. Truthfully, it's easier if the reference you're using is facing the same direction, but, you know. This one is not ideal because you can't see his chin. If we had more time, I would find something that's not so shadowed. It looks awesome. It's great lighting, and I've copied that so many times. But it would be easier if you could see more of his chin. And I could find something in here that would be much better, you know, with just a few minutes. But we're trying to move along here, so I'm not going to do that. So let's just tighten this up. His eyes were fine. We're just going to leave those alone. His nose, for this one, has more of this kind of shape. I know you weren't asking about the nose, but we're going to change the nose to match this too. There we go. And his cheek comes out like this and then cuts in. His mouth is kind of like this. His chin is going to be much more pronounced. Take my word for it. If I looked around, you would find one that is more like that. I want to really bring out his jaw in the back. So he's already got much more of a strong face. And then his forehead is going to, like, I want to give him a stronger brow. So it just projects out more this way. Maybe even more of a chin. I think I went a little bit small. And look at that. I have a much more heroic face. And that's just using that as reference. or really, you know what? I've got another one here that actually would have been perfect. I just didn't look far enough. But yeah, that is the easiest way to solve that kind of a problem. I could point out, you make this bigger or whatever, but what you want to do is, find a way when you're drawing because it's not just faces, it's everything. And this applies to everything. This is the way that you can get better at drawing so many things. And Meredith's on her Facebook. If you want to know if Meredith's on her Facebook, just listen to when her Facebook starts making noise. I start doing tutorials and she stops listening.
I do stop listening because I'm not learning how to draw. I listen in the sense that you're talking.
Right, you're waiting for me to stop. It's fine. It's not like I'm offended.
Tuned into everything you say.
That's what I think should happen.
Waiting with bated breath. All right, I have another tutorial question for you.
Okay.
This one is from Omar Sharif Sayed. Omar says, "Hey Meredith, could you ask Dave what's the difference between flicks and feathering?"
I'm not totally sure how to answer that because, okay. So when I'm using this pen right here, it has a thick to thin. And so everything that I do is essentially a flick. You can see that these are feathered in the sense that they go thin to thick. And that's really all that means. I think like these are feathered lines, but I'm flicking them out. And so I don't really know the distinction. And so I'm going to make an assumption about the distinction that you might mean. And so here I'm going to do something that is more like this. You can imagine this more as like a Mobius kind of a style. It's very common, but I'm going to do something that is more of an even thickness all the way through. And so I'm not going thin to thick. And I like doing something like this on like this is it's metal. You can see how it actually kind of worked, and it created almost like a bit of a ridge, and then I could do it again. And it gives me actually a feel that I kind of like. I'm glad you brought it up now because I'm going to use it everywhere. I don't really have the greatest answer for why I would do one over the other. I usually do more of a feather. And you know what? I wouldn't do this over here. Why? I don't really know. So maybe I would use this more on something that's more like a non-organic kind of a thing, surface. But I know I do it. I just don't know that I've ever really thought about why. So many things like that, I wish I could say like I have a real answer but I don't. I don't think it's really helpful for me to try and fake it like as if I do. But yeah. But I do know I wouldn't do it on his arm. So there you go.
Perfect.
I just don't know why.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. What's your ETA on this one, Dave?
About 30 minutes.
Stop.
No, I'm not kidding. So there's going to be a point where we're just going to have to stop. Because, I know I'm not going to keep you up all night. But yeah, truthfully, like I could hack through the rest of this and say, oh yeah, there you go. We did it in 10 minutes. One thing I'm going to stop for the rest of them, unfortunately, because Meredith doesn't want to sleep and there's not much I can do about that. So I'm going to have to finish this off stream. But yeah, you guys had a lot of questions this time and I'm glad. But we're taking a while on the sketch too. Let me cast a shadow from his arm over this. I was talking about using rendering to just push something back. So let me go ahead and do that here. I already had some established, but I'm going to go all the way through with it. And I'm using this this is almost like using a Zipatone, which is it's just a texture just to gray something out and visually push it back. And so that kind of pushes that leg back from the arm, and it really kind of pops the arm out more. And I'm glad I did it. And I don't know that I would have done that otherwise. So I think it worked out for me pretty well. But that is why I would do it. And I would never do this on like his face where I want it to be more contrasty because I want to draw your eye there. I would do it on something that I'm trying to draw your eye away from. I mean, ideally, I don't want the leg to be drawn so badly that I feel the need to do that. But compositionally, this is never going to be really the focus of the picture. So yeah, what time is it? 9:05. You want to give me another 5 minutes and then I'll stop. So just what I can get in 5. How's that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I have a few other things I want to do with it. I'm going to use my toothbrush and do some stuff with it. And I'm just having fun with it, but I don't want to hack through the rest of it. That's the problem. And I could say, you go to bed and I'll just come up, but you'll be asleep by the time I'm done. So.
Oh, totally. I would be.
So I'm not going to do that. All right, I'm doing this.
You remember what you're doing?
Well, I decided I'm not doing like a thin to thick. I'm doing more of an even line weight on his metal parts.
I mean, it looks like it could be done already, but I know you'll just keep adding. Tweaky.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Amanda Fox wants to know if you have a video of your amazing space. You should do. Have you done an office tour video yet?
No.
You should do that on Instagram. That's a perfect Insta video.
My space is truly not amazing.
No, what you do is you just go along your shelves.
Sure, I could do that. Like I don't have.
You just be like, here's this. What's this statue from what you did?
What are you pointing at? That one?
Yeah.
That is the Batman Insanity statue from XM Studios.
You just go like, here's this Wonder Woman statue that I bought Meredith when she wrote Wonder Woman, but now she doesn't want.
So I put it in here. Yep.
So I put it in here. Here's the maple syrup that got Captain Canuck on it.
I know. Yeah, I love that.
You got to just go around the room.
Here's
the vase from that was in my house, very first house that I bought that Meredith is broken and Meredith wanted to get rid of, but I'll never part with. You just go around the room. People will love it.
All right. Yeah, and most of the stuff I have is not really, I can only fit so much stuff in front of the camera. I tried to pile as much in there as I could.
You just do a little video tour.
All right.
Art9 wants to know, Meredith, are you planning to work in some new comics at some point? By some point, please say something. No. I have no plans to work in comics again at this moment. And not at this moment, no.
Not at this moment. I mean,
okay, here's what I will say. If you're desperate for Meredith comics, there is a comic that I wrote pre-COVID that they then, when everything shut down in COVID, it got shut down, and then they kickstarted it through Cave Publishing. They're the same people who did The Light Princess, and it is out now. There's like 3 different artists on it. No, 2 different artists on it.
2 incredibly talented
amazing artists on it.
Great people.
Because we had Christine. I can't think of her last name right now. Because it's past like after 9 o'clock, my brain shuts down. And Andrew Pepoy did the last. Like Christine did the first 2 issues, and then Andrew did the last 3 or 4. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a book by George MacDonald, whom I love, and who also wrote The Light Princess. It's called Fantasties, and if you're any kind of like religious scholar, you would know that C.S. Lewis credits Fantasties with being the book that made him a Christian. So that is the Kickstarter. I have my copies. I think the Kickstarter people maybe have their copies or will have soon. And
it's a great original story.
yeah,
And the way Meredith did I think it's really well done. I mean, I'm talking up our own product
to
here.
read the book, it's a very complex book.
It is. It's written in an odd way. It's very cool. Like it's cool. But you can all imagine what I've been calling that book for 6 years now.
What?
I can't say it. It's called Fantasties. I mean, use your imagination.
Oh. There you go. I don't have an imagination apparently, so there you go.
Okay.
Michael Gardner has a super chat. Michael says, "Thanks again, Dave, Meredith, and Eric, and to the moderators. Great show. I learn something every time." Dave's still drawing. It's 10 after 9. G Code says, "Do you use 3D models for lighting and posing as reference? I struggle with that when I'm drawing my own characters. Any advice?"
I don't, but I will say there have been times when I've had to paint something, and I've done it. And so, yes, it's not like I've never done it. Generally speaking, no, because I can always find something that is going to help enough. I've got most things I can just light pretty well. And if I can't, I've got a huge library of like photos that have, especially backs, I always struggle with. So I look at things for backs all the time. I don't find 3D models to be, they're good for overall lighting, which I'm usually pretty good with. Like I'm generally all right. So if you are struggling with overall lighting on something, I would say that it's a great resource. But for like more fine detail, the 3D models tend to have an artificial look to them, I think. But I do think it's a great resource for sure. To get cast shadows and that kind of thing. And, you can get like a realism and like a believability. It doesn't even have to be realistic, but you just get a believability out of a really well-placed cast shadow. It makes a big difference. So yeah, I think it's a good resource for sure. And who is it that said, well, okay, this is not a quote that actually is all that maybe applicable, but I kind of think it is anyway. It was, and I think it was Neil Adams who said, never, and this is Neil Adams we're talking about, by the way, never I forget the quote, but basically it's never trace what you can, cut out, basically cut out and paste. Never draw what you can trace. And, there's like some other thing to it. But yeah, basically what he's saying is there's no cheating, it's all getting the product that you want and the result you want. And you're an artist. I mean, things are different now. I think there is cheating, there's using AI. Obviously, that's at that point, you're just hitting a button and it's not really art. But aside from that, there's no cheating. I am actually fairly close to being done, Meredith.
Right?
Yeah. Like seriously, give me 5 minutes and I will actually be done.
Lovely.
I'm closer than I thought I was.
Ba the Bone Roth wants to know, on the topic of Christianity, does your faith
ever conflict with the things you have to draw? There's some messed up stuff in comics, and I hope I can be a good comic artist without a bunch of crass.
No, but I can imagine places where it could. I can imagine where this could be an issue for sure. But I'm not really ever. Look, when it comes to movies, I love horror movies. Those can be pretty crass. I love a lot of things that are pretty crass. So for my particular case, no, not really. But I can imagine how that could be a dilemma, and it depends on where you are with your faith and what those choices mean for you. And you could be, in a position where you could be uncomfortable. And yeah, I think at that point you have to I mean, there is a certain amount of, if you can't draw it because it conflicts, that's going to be a sacrifice, that you would have to make. You'd have to not be able to take a job or whatever, and that's that is a sacrifice. So,
And I just want to say thank you to Russ for putting up a link to the Fantasties Indiegogo, which I'm assuming Indiegogo is one of those things where you can buy like after the fact. So, but and you can look at what it looks like. The artist Christine Norrie. So
Christine Norrie, and because we haven't said it yet, thank you as always to Russ.
Yeah, Russ and Eric, they're amazing. Amazing. We couldn't do our streams without them.
No,
they are literally the bomb.
All right, you know what? I'm going to call it done here.
Woohoo! See, it wasn't half an hour. It
No,
was 15 minutes.
I want to make sure I spell Nick Dragota's name properly. There's nothing more disrespectful.
Why are you spelling a guy's?
Because here, look at this.
Is this for somebody?
No, it's not. But I copied it. See
Oh.
that? That's the reference that I used.
So you're going the after.
Right.
You're doing after. So there you go.
And of course, he didn't draw the book, so his name's not in here. Do I have what other reference do I have? Come on.
Do you want me to look up his name?
Thank you.
Okay. Hold on.
Like, I know how to spell it, but I want to be
Just look it
sure.
up. So I'm going to go absolute Batman Nick.
Oh, no, it says right here.
Dragotta. Dragota. DRA drag OTTA.
2 T's? Are you sure about? Yep, 2 T's. Okay.
Dragota.
Yeah, it's
Tata.
in very poor taste to do like a
then
homage to somebody and then spell their name wrong.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yes. All
That
right.
would be tacky. Tacky.
That was so much fun. All right. Thank you, everyone, for spending Monday night with us. We went a little bit long. I was glad we were able to. I had so much fun with it. Oh no! You know what? While I say goodbye, I'm going to finish this one piece.
We had so much fun.
We had a ton of fun.
We love that you guys join us every week, even when sometimes we're like, we don't have our stuff together and we're Monday and we're Tuesday. We're all over the map, but you guys are all over the map with us. So, and you stick with us and we love it and we appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for keeping Dave occupied and amused while I was late, eating good food.
And thank you to Eric.
Thanks, Eric. And thanks, Russ.
All right. We're out. Have a good week, everybody.
Happy.